Stand next to a tournament boat at blastoff and count the rods on the deck. 12, 15, sometimes 20 rods, rigged and ready. Now here is the part nobody tells you. They are not all $300 rods. Tucked between the sponsored flagships are $40 and $50 sticks, rigged with the pros' best reels. And they are there because the man who fishes for a paycheck knows something the rest of the aisle doesn't. The $300 rod and the $40 rod were very often born in the same factory, rolled from the same carbon on the same day. Today I am showing you 5 fishing rods working pros quietly use, all under $50, including one at number 1 with no famous name at all. A rod so overlooked that the company selling it won't even tell you who builds it. Before we start, I put everything in this video and every price I've ever verified into one book, The Logo Tax. It's the whole map for beating the tackle industry, and it's linked in the description and pinned comment. No sponsor, no brand worship. Let's get into it. Start with what a rod actually is, because the marketing has buried the simplicity. A rod is a blank, a handful of guides, a reel seat, and a handle, and the blank, the actual rod part, is most of what you are buying. Here's the industry's quietest fact. Graphite blanks, and graphite is just carbon fiber, come out of a small number of factories that roll for a very long list of brand names. The material in a $40 blank and a $150 blank is often the exact same modulus class, the same carbon, cooked in the same ovens. You will see it written as IM6 or IM7 on the label, and that number describes the carbon, not the logo. Triple the price has never once meant triple the carbon. And think about why a working pro reaches for the cheap one. His rods live a brutal life. Clients high stick them, hatches slam on them, rod lockers grind them, and every season one goes over the side. A guide cannot hand a beginner a $300 rod and sleep at night. So he buys the $50 stick with the same carbon in its spine, rigs it with a good reel, and quietly notices what the fish keep confirming. The blank does the catching, and the blank was never the expensive part. One honest ground rule, because this audience knows rods, and pretending otherwise would insult you. The same blank does not mean the same rod. A $300 rod genuinely carries better guide inserts, tighter quality control, and a few ounces less weight. And if you fish 40 days a year, your wrist will feel the difference by dark. If that is you, buy the premium and enjoy every cast. But for the way most of us fish, the performance that puts fish in the boat lives on the cheap rack, counting down from 5. Number 5, the Ugly Stik GX2, around $50, and that is its real current price, not the 25 some old videos still quote. So check the peg, not the hype. The GX2 is graphite wrapped in fiberglass with that famous clear tip, and it is quite possibly the hardest rod to break ever sold in America. This is the rod charter guides hand to clients on purpose, because it survives the truck, the kids, the pier, and the ocean, year after year. Ask around any dock, and you will hear the same story. The client rods are ugly sticks. The guide has watched them slammed in tailgates and stepped on flat, and they keep coming back for more. The fair caveat: durability costs sensitivity. A GX2 is a tank, not a scalpel, and you will miss the lightest bites. But as the one rod that simply refuses to die, $50 is still a bargain. The next one is the cheapest reel sensitivity in the entire store. Number 4, the Berkley Cherrywood HD, around $25. Berkley has been building fishing gear since 1937, and the Cherrywood is their quiet sleeper, a light graphite rod with a genuinely fast action. And I want to be precise, because people get this wrong. Berkley lists it as fast action, meaning the tip loads quickly and telegraphs light bites straight into your hand. For jigs, worms, and finesse fishing, that is exactly what you want, because the fish that barely taps the bait is usually the biggest one of the day. The fair caveat: fast and light is not the rod for horsing fish out of heavy cover, but at $25, nothing else comes close for feel. And if you fish crankbaits, grab the moderate casting version of the same rod, because that slower flex keeps treble hooks pinned through every head shake. The next one is the bait caster that reads like an $80 spec sheet. Number 3, the Ozark Trail OTX Baitcast, around $35. Walmart's own house brand, which means no famous logo, no pro endorsements, no marketing budget. And that is exactly why it costs what it costs. You get an IM7 graphite blank. That is the same carbon class you will find on rods at $80 and $100, stainless guides, and a real cork split grip. The fair caveat: house brand means the quality control is the corner they cut, so flex it in the store and check every guide before you buy. But spec for spec, dollar for dollar, it is absurd. And its spinning brother is waiting at number 1. Quick word, because we are right at the turn. Everything this channel has verified: the $9 braid, the $50 Yeti killer, the store checks, the Amazon junk filter, and 3 complete builds that each cost less than 1 glass case reel, is in one book now. It is called The Logo Tax, and the link is in the description and the pinned comment. Now, the top 2. Number 2, the Ugly Stick Elite, around $45. Everybody knows the regular Ugly Stick. Almost nobody notices the Elite hanging right next to it, with more graphite in the blank, which makes it lighter and noticeably more sensitive, plus a real cork handle instead of foam. And cork is what the $300 rods use, because it transmits vibration better and feels alive in your hand. The fair caveat: it keeps some of that famous ugly stick softness, so it is not a fast tournament stick. But it is the premium version of a legend, for the price of a tank of gas. And number 1 is the purest logo tax test in all of fishing. And number 1, the Ozark Trail OTX spinning rod, $36.97. This is the rod that proves the whole point of this channel, because there is no logo to pay for. An IM7 carbon blank, the same modulus class as rods costing $80 to $150. Stainless steel guides, a genuine cork handle, the handle material of the premium wall. And here is my favorite part: the owners already know. Anglers who bought one write that they run their $100 reels on this $37 rod by choice, that it is snappy, sensitive, and casts better than it has any right to. Walmart will not even say which factory builds it, and that anonymous factory is almost certainly rolling blanks for names you would recognize. The fair caveat: inspect it in the store, check the tip and every guide before you walk out, because house brand quality control is the trade. Do that, and you are holding the best pure value on any pegboard in America. So here's the uncomfortable question. If the carbon in a $37 blank is the same class as the carbon in the $300 one, and the pros themselves rig cheap rods with good reels, what exactly is the extra $260 buying? Smoother guide inserts, yes. Tighter tolerances, yes. But mostly a name, a decal, and a spot on the lit rack. And no base in history has ever checked the decal. That is the whole game. A rod is a blank with hardware on it, and the blank is on the cheap rack. If it were my money, the OTX spinning for the best pure value in the store, the Cherrywood for cheap sensitivity, and the GX2 for the rod that cannot die, all three together for about $110, a third of one premium rod. And the two tips that matter more than any brand name. First, buy your rod in the store, never shipped, because tips get snapped in transit. So put your hands on it, load it gently against your palm, and watch the recovery. A good blank snaps back in one clean motion with no wobble. Then run a finger around every guide insert feeling for cracks. Second, the rod is almost never the weak link in a cheap setup. The reel is, so put your savings there, because a $100 reel on a $37 rod is exactly how the pros build a workhorse. If you learned something today, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. Now tell me in the comments, what is the cheapest rod you have ever absolutely loaded the boat with? Every angler has that one stick. And next time, the Walmart fish finders that read the bottom like units costing $700. I'll see you there.